Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing, man? This damn NBA. Just when you think we've seen it all, something else happens. How y'all doing, man? Sorry to disturb you guys on a Sunday, but we got a major piece of breaking news right now that we want you guys to be a part of. So we're gonna get this live going. And somebody said Katie's gone. Blueface baby was good. Mr. Ant the Great was good. Welcome in. Let's go. Mark, let me just give everybody let's say 1 more minute to allow everybody to check in, and then we're going to get it going. Girls these days was good. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Let's give it like another 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds of it. Let's allow everybody to catch up to this live because I'm in total shock. But I'm not in shock that it happened. I'm in shock at how soon it happened. So let me just give it like another 30 seconds. Make sure y'all welcome in, check in, check in. Also, for the people coming in right now, make sure you follow us on Dreamers Pro, our Instagram page. If you guys want to, message us and also be on the lookout for that page for some updates. So I'm gonna post that right here. Make sure you follow us on our Instagram, IG. That's our Dreamers Pro on Instagram. Let me just pin that to the top. Okay, let's give it like 10 more seconds and we're gonna get it going. 10 more seconds. Check in, check in. Jeremy was good. Yep, shock, man. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, all right, so thank you guys for being a part of this. We're going to get it going, and then people will catch up to this live. So let me tell you what happened. I was literally chilling, and Marco, the co-founder of Dreamers Pro, he's in there too. He just posted one of the shows we put on the channel. I was watching the Kawhi video, and I'm going through the comments, looking at some of the comments, and I saw somebody wrote, Kyrie just been traded to the Mavs. Newsflash, Kyrie just been traded. Kyrie, I'm like, wait, what? So I immediately jump on, on ESPN.com, and I see the breaking news that Kyrie Irving has been traded. And I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden, we got to do this live. And I told Mark, I'm like, man, we just got to do it. So yes, it is official. Kyrie Irving is no longer a Brooklyn Net, and I got a lot that I want to say. Let me read what Adrian Wojnarowski said. The Nets are trading Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris to the Mavericks for Spencer Dinwiddie. Funny enough, he was a former Brooklyn Net. Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2029 first-round pick, and a 2027 and 2029 second-round pick, sources tell ESPN. If I'm reading from ESPN.com, they're saying the Brooklyn Nets are trading Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. Sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski on Sunday. The Mavs are sending Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, and unprotected picks, 29 picks. Talks between the Nets and the Mavericks accelerated on Sunday. Today, sources said the Lakers and Nets had several conversations on a potential trade, but the Nets preferred Dallas's package that included getting a point guard and a wing to add to the roster, plus future draft picks. The Nets plan to offer the picks acquired in the trade, as well as the 2023 first-round pick via Philadelphia. In trade talks to try to improve the roster ahead of Thursday's trade deadline, sources said. Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison has a long history with Irving, going back to their Nike days together. Dallas coach Jason Kidd was also a proponent of the trade, with the Mavericks adding a second star next to Luka Doncic. The Mavs can wait to see how the rest of the season goes before deciding on a new deal. Dinwiddie, meanwhile, returns to Brooklyn, where he played for 5 seasons before an ACL injury. So that's what the ESPN report is saying. Adrian Wojnarowski saying the same thing. So we got a lot that we got to talk about. First of all, let's talk about it from the Dallas Mavericks standpoint. Okay, the Dallas Mavericks just got better. They legitimately just got better because they just added a few things. Number one, they added another ball handler in Kyrie Irving. They added another closer in Kyrie Irving. They added another 50, 40, 90 guy. This definitely going to help with the spacing. They added another guy that Luka Doncic can now at times play off the ball. And that's something I'm going to be really interested to see in this trade is how does Luka modify his game to go along with Kyrie Irving? Because, Luka plays kind of similar to LeBron. And when LeBron James and Kyrie were playing together, LeBron at times was able to modify his game to play with Kyrie Irving. I think Luka's going to have to do the same thing. I don't think Luka's going to be as dominant or need to be as dominant on the ball. Or maybe at times, maybe Kyrie Irving may run the point and Luka may end up being just the scoring threat, maybe as a 2 or 3, and focusing on scoring and rebounding, and let Kyrie Irving at times handle the ball. I'm sure Jason Kidd and these guys are going to figure out a way to make it work. Obviously, they must have thought about all of these things. Obviously, Luka Doncic must have given the green light for it. So there's a lot of good things about this for Dallas. Another thing worth pointing out, and I got a lot that I want to talk about here. If you look at the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks are the team that just made the power move. The West this season is wide open. Coming into the season, we're looking at the Clippers. We were looking at the Golden State Warriors. As we're doing this live right now, the Golden State Warriors are the number 7 seed. No one thought that, but obviously they had injuries, and I think Stephen Curry just got injured again. You have the Phoenix Suns in there. The Clippers are there. You have the Sacramento Kings at the 3 seed. Do we think they're going to be the 3 seed at the end of the season? Do we think they're going to be a threat? So I think the Dallas Mavericks doing this, they definitely just moved the needle. And now Dallas is going to become another force in the Western Conference. So I think this is a good move for the Dallas Mavericks. My only thing is I'm interested in seeing how Luka and Kyrie Irving play together. That's the thing I'm most curious about because Luka is such a ball-dominant guy. KD, on the other hand, is not a ball-dominant guy. So you can kind of understand how that works. But in this case, I'm very interested to see how that's going to work. That's the first thing. The second thing is, let's talk about the losers in the Kyrie Irving sweepstakes. Who are the losers? The Phoenix Suns, the LA Clippers, and the biggest losers of them all is the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers are the biggest losers in this trade. For a while, I actually thought that the Lakers were going to get Kyrie. But I personally believe that maybe the package that the Lakers were offering Brooklyn simply would not have been enough. Because a lot of those pieces, I don't see the Lakers wanting, the Brooklyn Nets wanting them. And I don't think you can trade Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving straight up and not have a green light from Kevin Durant. We already saw that. Here's something else that kind of surprised me as well. A lot of people thought that in order for Kyrie Irving to be traded, he would need to be traded for another star of his magnitude. Spencer Dinwiddie is no Kyrie Irving. He is not no Kyrie Irving. Now, maybe they were able to make the salaries match. I think they got, who did they get? They got Spencer Dinwiddie. Who's the other player they got? Let me just read it right here. Dorian Finney-Smith. Those guys are not on the level of a Kyrie Irving at all. And it makes me think about the Brooklyn Nets. Maybe the Brooklyn Nets were not willing to play hardball with some of these teams because maybe they themselves realized that they've kind of reached the end of the process with Kyrie Irving. Because for the level of talent that Kyrie is, one would think he would be able to garner more talent in a trade involving him than what he got. So I'm a bit surprised at that. But if we're looking at the losers in this trade, number one is the Lakers. The Lakers definitely needed a Kyrie Irving. Definitely. They needed a Kyrie Irving. They needed him. He would have been the perfect fit. I think if the Lakers had gotten Kyrie, they would have gone from being a number 13 seed to be one of the teams that's in serious contention to go to the Western Conference Finals. I thought the Lakers would be that good with Kyrie Irving. Literally. He would have solved so many problems for them. Let me just read this comment. This is from Sheldon Jackson. Do you believe that since the Nets knew Kyrie's preference, they did what the Spurs did to Kawhi and send him somewhere else? That's a great question. That's a good possibly, maybe out of spite, because they the Spurs did that to Kawhi when they sent him to Toronto. They definitely did that to him. They sent him to another country. They're like, nah, you're going to another country. It's possible. Let me just read the next person's question. I'll come back to yours. The Lakers could still get Kyrie next year if Luka and Kyrie duo doesn't work out. Kyrie is still unrestricted. Exactly. He's still an unrestricted free agent and can sign with any team, or he could just stay with the Mavs if things work out. Yes, that's a very good point, Zeno. That's a very, 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 very good point. The only thing about that is LeBron will be 1 year older, right? He'll be 1 year older. And it's going to come down to, does Kyrie Irving believe that LeBron is still good enough to be that option or one part of the big three or whatever it is to win a championship? And I'm sure Kyrie Irving is also going to factor in the health of Anthony Davis as well. I think that's going to be a factor as well. But that's a good point. Because at that point, Russell Westbrook will be off their books. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see what team picks up Russell Westbrook next season when his contract expires. That's a very good point. To what's the first question, to Sheldon's question, it could be, man. It could be. Maybe, there are some teams in the NBA that don't want to do the Lakers any favors. There's some teams. There's some general managers that don't want to give Rob Pelinka any give him any favors. Some of you may not know, but Rob Pelinka has a reputation of being a guy that he'll say one thing and then do something totally different. This is the reputation of Rob Pelinka. So maybe some people don't want to help him out whatsoever, because if you're going to trade Kyrie Irving for Russell Westbrook, you're definitely doing the Lakers a solid. You're definitely kind of similar to the way the Lakers were originally able to trade Pau Gasol when he was with the Memphis Grizzlies for Kwame Brown and some other players. People were like, how did they pull that trade off? It seemed like a heist, right? So maybe Rob Pelinka doesn't have those relationships. Maybe if it was Magic Johnson, maybe it'll be a little bit different. I don't know. Let me just read this comment here from Emma. He said, do you think fans' treatment of Westbrook hurt his trade stock as well? Yeah. They clowned him all season, or just the contract? To be totally honest with you, that's a very good point. And I got a lot more I want to talk about this. I just want to answer some of their questions. The two people that hurt Russell Westbrook, apart from himself, because Russell Westbrook did play poorly in LA. We cannot forget that. He did play poorly in LA. The problem was the entire media just focused in on Westbrook and made him the end-all be-all when it came to the Lakers' problems. And what I'm beginning to understand is that the things that people say in the media about athletes actually has an impression on some teams, whether you believe it or not. They actually listen to these guys in the media. They really do. And it can hurt your stock. It can. Russell Westbrook, not only did he play bad, but they trashed him and they lowered his value so much that nobody wanted to trade for him. That's just the truth. Last year, he didn't play well. But the way the media framed it, it was like he was the number one reason the Lakers were not good, and it just wasn't true. It just wasn't true. Had the Lakers not had a bad season last year, but they got to the playoffs and they didn't win. If they wanted to trade Russell Westbrook because they thought, okay, maybe he's not a good fit, there would be more teams willing to trade for him in that situation than they do now. Why? Because the year before Russell Westbrook got to LA, he was able to help take a Washington Wizards team to the play-in tournament. So it's not like as if he just fell off a cliff. He was still playing at a high level. Was he going to win playing championship basketball? No. But I definitely think the coverage of Russell Westbrook hurt his trade value. It clearly did. They overdid it in the media, in my personal view. They overdid it. And I think the Lakers are just going to have to take that one on the chin. They're going to have to swallow that contract, pay him his $37 or $47 million that they owe him this season, and that's that. They're just going to have to take that. They're just going to have to accept the fact that it did not work out. So the Lakers are losers in this trade. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets. Somebody just said it. Obsolete Creation just said it. KD is gone. Somebody just said it. I think Kevin Durant is the next one to go. I think Kevin Durant is the next one to go. If I am KD, I am already talking to my agent to say, where can I possibly go at this point? What's KD thinking? What do we do with Ben? Sports, let me see, Sports PSP. I appreciate that. I think KD is out of there. I think Kevin Durant is out of there. I was listening to Jalen Rose, and he was saying that Kevin Durant, I'm sure deep down in his heart, realizes he made a mistake by leaving the Golden State Warriors. And you see, this is the problem when you listen to voices out there. Kevin Durant listened to Stephen A. Smith. He listened to Shannon Sharpe, whoever was criticizing him. But the one person he didn't listen to was himself. Because KD knew when he wanted to go there, even though he was going to get all of that scrutiny, in his heart, that's what he wanted to do. That's what he wanted to do. So even if it was the unpopular decision, it's what you wanted to do. I believe KD left Golden State trying to prove a point to people. That's what I believe. And at the end, he ended up only hurting himself. Because the Kevin Durant experiment in Brooklyn has been a total disaster. It's been a total disaster. If I'm Kevin Durant, I'm leaving. If I'm Kevin Durant, I am leaving. I don't care. You see, what's going to happen with KD is this. You're going to have some people in the media that say, oh, KD's running from a fight. Oh, he's running from a challenge. KD's running from a challenge. He doesn't want to finish where he started. He's running from a challenge. That's what they were saying about him this summer. Y'all remember? They were saying about KD this summer, oh, KD is running from a challenge. He doesn't want to face reality. All those people that were saying that KD is running from a challenge are going to be the same ones laughing at him when he loses. KD should have been left, which brings me to the Brooklyn Nets ownership. Let's talk about the ownership. I want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets ownership for a second. The Brooklyn Nets, Draymond Green may leave too, so it would have worked out. Yeah. Thanks for the comment. The Brooklyn Nets are a clown show organization. I feel like the Brooklyn Nets are not getting enough criticism. I feel like we're spending way too much time focusing on the players. We've talked about KD. We've talked about Kyrie. And I'm going to get to that damn Ben Simmons in a minute. I know a lot of people want to know what I got to say about Ben. I'm going to get to that damn Ben Simmons in a minute. I'm going to get to Ben Simmons. But we got to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. What is it about Brooklyn that they were not able to manage this situation better. What is it about the Nets that they could not manage this situation better? Every team has drama. Every team is dealing with something. Most of the times we don't even know about it. The Ime Udoka story, if the Boston Celtics didn't make it public, we would not have even known about it. You think there are no teams out there going through turmoil in the locker room and all of that? Hold up. You think the Miami Heat don't have issues in their locker room with some of their players? You think so? Y'all saw the blow up that Eric Spoelstra had with Jimmy Butler on the sideline when Udonis Haslem looked like he was about to knuckle up with Jimmy Butler? You don't think they have issues? But they always keep it in-house. The Brooklyn Nets are the total opposite. In the middle of that lockdown, in the middle of that, when we were talking about the vaccine, they were the face of it for the NBA because they managed to make that situation so noisy. Let me read this comment. The Brooklyn Nets are a textbook example of bad management and what not to do. So many red flags that were just glaring. Exactly. Thanks for that. Who's this? Mark Monroe. Appreciate that. Exactly. Brooklyn, the Nets are not getting enough criticism in my view. We got to talk about Joe Tsai for a second. I'm not letting Joe Tsai off the hook. We got to talk about Joe Tsai. Is Joe Tsai the governor or the CEO, whatever you want to call it, of the Nets, or is he not? Is it a situation where he's an owner and he has a hands-off approach, or he's an owner and he's hands-on? In my personal view, he is hands-on. Do you know why? Because Joe Tsai tweets. He's a part of every major decision. He doesn't leave it to the team president or the general manager. He's very much a part of it. When Kevin Durant said he wanted to get traded, Joe Tsai went on Twitter. This is the same Nets. They don't know how to keep their business to themselves. They go to the public. KD requests a trade. Why would the owner go on Twitter to post his support, show his support to his staff members in the organization? Wouldn't you just go to the staff members? Wouldn't you hold a meeting? Wouldn't you send an email? Wouldn't you get these guys in a group chat? Why would you post it on Twitter? Why would you post it on Twitter to show that I show you? No, you're trying to appeal to the public. Why would you go on Twitter? You're bringing more attention to yourself. That's what was happening. Now, obviously, a player of Kevin Durant's magnitude, if he requests a trade, obviously people like Adrian Wojnarowski, Chris Haynes, Shams, these guys are going to pick up on it. But all the other stuff doesn't have to be in a public forum. He's the one that said that. I'm not going to come off of it because although Kyrie Irving posted that link and it created his own firestorm, I 100% believe that Joe Tsai publicly taking a stance against Kyrie added more fuel to the fire. It added more fuel to the fire because now not only was he getting dealt with by the public, the owner of the team was also reprimanding him in the public. So the Nets were literally putting themselves in the headlines. Nobody was who told Joe Tsai to tweet all of those? It was him. The day it happened, he's the one that started tweeting. What person would start? Why would you start tweeting about it? Why don't you call the guy? Get to the bottom of it first before you start tweeting about it. Somebody said he treats them like Uruguay's slaves. Thanks for the comment. It's ridiculous. The Brooklyn Nets, I believe, at the very end, should be the number one culprits in all of this. Because they're the ones that had the players, they're the ones that lost the players. They had a series of decisions that made no sense. that made no sense. Kevin Durant told the Nets, I'm not coming off of it. He said this summer, fire Steve Nash and the general manager. The owner said, no, I'm going to show you have my full support. Less than 1 month into the season, the same ownership group fired the coach that the star player requested for them to do. What kind of team does this? They were just absolutely dysfunctional. They told Kyrie, you cannot be a part-time player. Kyrie said, okay, I'm going to take my bag, take my ball, and I'm going home. Thank you. They now call him later. Well, actually, we changed our mind about it. What? So to me, the Brooklyn Nets are a clown show, which brings me to Ben Simmons. Let's talk about that goddamn Ben Simmons for a minute. I was just watching an episode from Too Raw for Sports, and he was talking about Ben Simmons. In all of this, Ben Simmons somehow is getting lost in the shuffle. We need to put a focus on Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has added absolutely nothing to the Brooklyn Nets. Ben Simmons has been such a disappointment that not KD, not Kyrie could have looked across the hallway and said, man, well, I still got Ben Simmons to play with. At least LeBron can look down the hallway and say, well, the Lakers ain't doing they're not doing very well, but at least I got AD. At least AD putting up beast mode numbers. What has Ben Simmons been? What is the value of Ben Simmons in all of this? What's the value? And it's one of the reasons I believe that the lack of progression, the lack of production of Ben Simmons is going to make it easier for Kevin Durant to demand it. If you're KD, why the hell would you want to be Ben Simmons' teammate? What real basketball player that is about his business wants to be teammates with Ben Simmons? Who? Can you imagine a player like Ben Simmons playing with Kobe? No, think about it. Imagine a player like Ben Simmons playing with Kobe. Appreciate that, Mark Monroe. Ben Simmons, the heist of the century. It's a heist. And this is why Jay Williams was getting upset with Jalen Rose saying he's stealing money. But what is he doing? What is Ben Simmons doing? He's averaging 7 points a game now, and he's shooting 40% from the free throw line. He's shooting a Hall of Fame 0% from the three-point line. We already know that. And now every other game, he's either leaving the game for some oddball reason. Now he has some other issue that he's injured about. Why am I hearing more about Ben Simmons' personal life, about what chick got this ring and this other chick? Nobody cares. And then you got people like Jay Williams trying to cover up for him. No, it's not Ben Simmons. You got to understand, he's going through some things. KD don't want to hear that. Jay Williams and all of them can talk as much as they want, but the audio is there. When Kyrie Irving was able to get into the paint and pass the ball to Ben, what did he say? Shoot, Ben! Shoot, Ben! You think Kyrie was happy with that? And Ben Simmons is playing so bad, you can't even trade him. Who's going to trade for Ben Simmons? Who in their right mind? Let me ask. No. Some people think I'm being funny. Let me pull up Ben Simmons' stats real quick. It's going to take like a minute. You don't need much bandwidth because there's nothing in there to talk about. Ben Simmons. Let me pull up his salary. Ben Simmons' salary. Let me pull up his salary. Ben Simmons' base salary is getting paid $35.45 million. The Brooklyn Nets are paying Ben Simmons $35 million. $35 million. Let me give you guys an example. Highest paid NBA players right now. Let me just pull up some salaries for you guys. Ben Simmons is earning 35 million. I want to show you. I want to show you guys. Let me show you some other guys that are earning similar. Anthony Davis is earning 38. Chris Middleton is earning 38. Let me go a little bit further down. Pascal Siakam is earning 35. Kyrie Irving is earning 35. Miles Turner, Devin Booker's earning 33. Ben Simmons earns more money than Joel Embiid, Drew Holiday, Karl Anthony Towns, CJ McCollum, Nikola Jokic, James Harden, Brandon Ingram, Jamal Murray, D'Angelo Russell. Ben Simmons out-earns all those dudes. All of those dudes, he out-earns them. But all of those guys produce. So how do we describe what Ben Simmons is doing if that's not stealing? Yeah, I appreciate that. El Candace, a long time no see. Yeah, I'm cooking. I'm out here sweating, as a matter of fact. Appreciate that. Ben Simmons is stealing money. What else is he doing? He's stealing money. That is the definition of robbery. I know one of the biggest things that New Yorkers were upset about was Allen Houston. Y'all remember Allen Houston? Allen Houston had this big contract, and I think he kept on getting injured. And a lot of New York Knicks fans were upset, like, man, he's getting paid all this money and he's not playing. A lot of New York fans were upset about that, Allen Houston, if some of you guys remember that. Ben Simmons is getting paid $35 million. $35 million to average 7 points in the NBA, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 44% from the free throw line. Ben Simmons is attempting less than 6 shots a game. Less than 6. That's less than 2 shots per quarter. You damn right he cheeks. You damn right. Son is buns. He's buns. Buns. He's buns. Buns. Y'all know what buns mean. He's buns. He's buns. $35 million. So to me, the era of the Brooklyn Nets is over. Exactly. Buns. The era of the Brooklyn Nets is over. Kevin Durant, I expect him to be the next person requesting a trade out of Brooklyn. Kyrie Irving, shout out to Kyrie. Oh, by the way, I'm not even done yet. I want to talk about Stephen A. Smith and these dudes real quick. I'm not done yet. Stick around with me. I want to talk about Stephen A. Smith real quick. Just yesterday, we did a live. If y'all remember, we did a live. And I said, why somebody said saggy buns. Somebody said saggy buns. Anyway, somebody said saggy buns. Who said that? Saggy Randy Mays, saggy buns. Angry buns. Matt, he said angry buns. Anyway, just yesterday, we did a live. Somebody said, take it easy, bro. You're giving me post-traumatic stress disorder. Might as well call Ben Simmons Nino Brown. He said, arrest him. Yeah. Somebody said honey buns. Anyway, man, let me get back. Cinnamon buns. Anyway, let me get back to this, man. Y'all know yesterday we did a live. And we were talking about Stephen A. Smith. In that live, I said my number one issue was that the minute Kyrie Irving put in that trade request, everybody and their grandmother were coming after him, calling his move idiotic. Kyrie cannot be trusted. Kyrie Irving is this. Kyrie Irving is that. Michael Wilbon, Kendrick Perkins, Stephen A. Smith, everybody. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is everybody beating up on this guy? Everybody was calling him idiotic and all his move was a bad move. It didn't make any sense. Everybody was beating up on Kyrie. Then yesterday, we read a report from CBS Sports through Chris Haynes, who said one of the stipulations that the Brooklyn Nets tried to put in their offer to Kyrie Irving was that they wanted one of the stipulations to be on whether or not the Nets would win the championship. And Kyrie basically told him, you can go ahead and kick rocks. How the hell is Kyrie going to sign a contract that has something in there that's tied to the Brooklyn Nets winning the championship? Why would he sign something like that? Then yesterday, after they basically badmouthed Kyrie, they then went on NBA on TNT NBA on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith then turns around and says, "Oh no, I want to change my position on Kyrie Irving. I know I spoke too fast yesterday, but I want to change my position." And one of the things I said in that audio was, why didn't they take time, since you guys are insiders, to call somebody, ask somebody, yo, what's going on, before everybody jumps to a conclusion? Why didn't they do that first? Yes, Jordan C. has been a failure. Yes. Why didn't they do that first? Then now all of a sudden he's like, oh, no. After some more information, I want to modify my position. What's the other thing the media's been saying about Kyrie Irving? If y'all remember, what have they been saying? That nobody wants him. Do y'all remember? Mark Monroe, let the tap dancing begin. You better believe, Mark, man, you must be a baller, man. You out here really showing us what you got. I appreciate that, man. Anyway, Mark, shout out to Mark, man. We got some ballers in here. Anyway, I feel like I'm on one of these big platforms doing a lot. I appreciate that. Anyway, he said that nobody wants to trade for Kyrie Irving. That's what the media was saying. Oh, he's toxic. Oh, he's a bad person. Oh, nobody team will want him. Nobody will trust him. Nobody trusts Kyrie. Kyrie Irving then demands a trade. And all of a sudden, we now hear that 4 teams are interested in Kyrie Irving. 4 teams. I thought nobody wanted him. I thought Kyrie Irving was this bad person. I thought he was a team cancer. I thought, all he has to do is sit up in there and just play basketball and be quiet and don't make any waves. And at the end of the season, somebody's going to offer you a contract. I thought that's all he had to do. And now we found out 4 teams wanted him, and within less than 48 hours with him putting in a trade, he got traded to another team. Kyrie requested to be traded on Friday evening or whatever, depending on your time when you saw it. By Sunday, he was out of there. I thought Kyrie was untradeable. I thought they said we need to wait till the end of the season to see how he plays, to see if he's reliable. Then we'll know whether or not teams want. This is what they said. This was the narrative around Kyrie, that he's untrustworthy. So why, if Kyrie Irving is untrustworthy, as they say he is, why did they just trade for him? Why did Mark Cuban just trade for him? If he's this team, it's all a narrative. And that's the thing that made me do the live yesterday, because I'm like, why is it that everybody got the memo? Everybody got the memo. Whenever Kyrie Irving says something, let's all attack him. It's the same thing with the link. If you remember, everybody attacked Kyrie Irving. Literally, the only person I heard that did not attack Kyrie was Kenny Smith. He was the only one. Maybe because he knows Kyrie, maybe because he knows his dad or whatever. But everybody wanted Kyrie. And the minute the guy puts in a trade request, now all of a sudden, we got to question whether or not Kyrie Irving can be trusted. Is Kyrie the first person that put in a trade request? Appreciate that. Is he the first one? So what they got to say about him now? I thought he wasn't trustworthy. So why do the Mavs try? I'm very happy for Kyrie. It doesn't mean that he's going to get an extension, because we still got to wait. But I'm happy, and I've not always agreed with Kyrie, But I'm happy that he got himself out of that mess, which is Brooklyn. Dope platforms like this should be support. Mark, man, you putting a lot of pressure on my other subscribers, man. Don't feel like you got to follow what Mark is doing. All right, don't feel like you got to follow. Appreciate that. You're putting a lot of pressure on some of my viewers. Don't feel like you got to keep up with Mark. Mark is balling right now. So this is a special case. He's balling right now. He's balling. Anyway, so that's been the narrative on Kyrie. That's been the narrative. So I'm happy that he got the hell up out of Brooklyn. I am happy he got the hell up out of Brooklyn. Good for him. Now let's see what they're going to say on Monday. Now I want to hear all the people that were saying what he was doing was dumb. Kyrie had no logic. He had no leverage. The only person yesterday that said Kyrie had leverage was Jalen Rose. That was the only person. And Emmanuel Acho. Let me see what they said. Jonathan, appreciate that. The Nets' downfall began when they broke up their balanced core to bring in James Harden. No long-term chemistry was built, and here we are. That's a good point. But a point could be made that that's the same thing that happened to the Lakers. The Lakers, in my personal opinion, they overreacted to what Brooklyn did. Y'all remember, the Lakers were only 2 years removed from winning a championship. They were only 2 years removed from winning a championship. The Brooklyn Nets go out and get James Harden. The Lakers reacted to that and felt like they needed to go get a third superstar, and they went and got Russell Westbrook. They overreacted to it. That was an overreaction. They didn't need to do that. Some teams didn't do all of that. Some teams just maybe kept one or two pieces. The Clippers didn't do that. And I believe the reason the Clippers trade didn't work was because Kyrie, maybe because the Brooklyn Nets probably wanted too much of their talent. Appreciate that before one. Appreciate that. Maybe that's the reason. But the Clippers overreacted. They absolutely did. And they didn't have any chemistry. James Harden didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there. But now you can see why James Harden didn't want to be there. And now who the Brooklyn Nets left with? So there's a lot of people tomorrow that got a lot of apologizing to do. A lot of people that were talking all of that trash about Kyrie, saying that it was a dumb move. He needs to wait to the end of the season. Now what they going to do? What they going to do? Also, I got to call it out. There was a real bias in the media to get Kyrie to LA. There was a real bias for it. A real push. And maybe some teams were just not willing to bargain with it. Maybe the Brooklyn Nets were just like, no, I'm not doing it. So this will happen. But good for Kyrie. I think the Dallas Mavericks are going to be a lot of fun right now. Oh, Candace is a big Dallas Mavericks supporter, so she must be very happy. So I think Dallas is going to be a really good team. I think Luka finally got the help that he needed. You got two very clutch players. I think we should expect the Dallas Mavericks to make a run this year, and I think that they're going to be really good. In terms of the Brooklyn Nets, I expect Kevin Durant to request a trade. I expect him to request a trade. I expect KD to leave Brooklyn, and I think the media needs to spend more time talking about Ben Simmons. We need to talk about Ben Simmons. There's no way in hell that Ben Simmons is making more money than Chris Middleton, Devin Booker, all of those dudes that I just mentioned. This guy's making $35 million a year and is producing absolutely nothing. For those of you who just got into this live, we just pulled it up before. Where did I get the stat from? Let me see where I got the stat. Ben Simmons. Let me tell you guys the players Ben Simmons earns more money than. Ben Simmons is getting paid $35.5 million. Ben Simmons makes more money than Kristaps Porzingis, Miles Turner, Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, Andrew Wiggins, Drew Holiday, CJ McCollum, Nikola Jokic, Brandon Ingram. Bam Adebayo. He makes more money than Donovan Mitchell, who just finished scoring 70. So Ben Simmons, What are we going to do now? If I'm KD, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. This is true. Jay Wills defended Kyrie too. Respect. Yeah, he defended Kyrie. Shout out to him for that, and he did. But there's no defense for Ben Simmons. So shout out to Kyrie, man. I'm very happy for him. Good move for the Dallas Mavericks. The losers in this are obviously the Lakers, obviously the Brooklyn Nets. Expect KD to 71. Expect KD to leave the Brooklyn Nets. And I think we need to spend more time talking about the Nets ownership because they're terrible. Terrible, the Brooklyn Nets ownership. They're terrible. They're terrible. We're going to spend all of that time talking about James Dolan and the New York Knicks, even though they've been bad for a very long time. But no one would accuse the New York Knicks of having the level of talent that the Brooklyn Nets had in the last 4 years. The New York Knicks never had that. The only level of talent they had was Carmelo Anthony at that level. And Carmelo just got old. But the Brooklyn Nets got all this talent, and look what they're doing. Mark, what do you think the next landing spot for KD? And does this shine more light in the future for players like Simmons for teams to readjust? Well, first of all, I think that Ben Simmons definitely, when the new CBA comes around, he's definitely going to be used as an example for the owners when they want to clamp down on the players. They're definitely going to use Ben Simmons as an example. He is definitely going to be an example. In terms of Kevin Durant, if I'm KD, if I'm him, I'm turning off my Twitter and I'm going to sit down with my agent and my family and I'm going to have a heart-to-heart with myself and I'm going to say, what team can I go to that can help me win a championship? And if it's possible, I don't care how it looks, I'm going. KD has been in hell over the last 3 years in Brooklyn. In hell. And not one time has criticized the owner. He hasn't done anything. He doesn't even talk. He doesn't criticize the play. Whenever you see him, he's always being diplomatic. If I'm KD, if I can get back to Golden State, I'll go. If I can get to Miami, I'll go. If I can get to wherever they can make me content, I'm going. And whoever says, oh, I'm soft or whatever, so be it. So be it. Little boy, 3,000. Charles, you know the small hats band together. They have massive media influence. The Nets deserve their failure. For treating Kyrie badly over the line. Yeah, the Nets. As I said, man. First of all, I appreciate the comment. The Nets did it to themselves. Sacramento, wherever. I think KD should go wherever he feels he can win a championship. That's what I believe. He should go wherever he feels, maybe Denver, wherever, to win a championship and say to hell with the Brooklyn Nets. They can kick rocks. That team is a joke of a team. You would have known there was a joke when they traded for Ben Simmons. If y'all remember, Stephen A. Smith and these guys were the ones twerking it up all over the place when they got Ben Simmons. Oh, yeah, well, now that they got Ben, I think I can just see it. Yeah, I can just see it. Ben Simmons. Now, I thought Brooklyn was going to be good this year, but who would have thought coming into this season that Ben Simmons would have gone from averaging 14 points per game and basically cut his average in half to 7 points? Who would have thought that? They've been saying all year, well, Ben Simmons is coming back from an injury. He's coming back from an injury. Hasn't Kawhi Leonard coming back from an injury too? We in February. He's still coming back from the injury? We're in February. I mean, tell them Nets to go back to Jersey. They're disgrace to my borough. To this day, I still don't call them Brooklyn Nets. He said, they're disgrace to my borough. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Somebody said KD to the Clippers. I think if they got KD, they would have to either trade Kawhi Leonard or trade Paul George. And I don't see them trading Kawhi because maybe Kawhi is a little bit too young. But if I'm the Clippers and I can get KD for Paul George, I'm making that trade last week. If I'm the Clippers and I can get Kevin Durant, I'm trading for him like I already traded for KD. already if I could do that. I would trade for him in a heart, like without even blinking. I would trade for KD. I wouldn't even think. What about KD to the Bucks? I don't know. We haven't even talked about the Bucks. We haven't even talked about the Bucks. I would do that trade in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Anyone, but KD needs to get the hell up out of Brooklyn, man. He needs to get the hell up out of Brooklyn. So, shout out to Kyrie Irving, man. I'm very happy for that dude. Glad he got the hell up out of there. And I think some people in the media that was saying Kyrie Irving needs to sit down and play it out and just be quiet. What he's doing is wrong. Him requesting a trade is not smart. Those people that were out there making their circuit runs yesterday and on Friday and all of that stuff, they need to go out there on Monday and say, listen, I was wrong. I was wrong. Kyrie obviously knew more than me. He obviously knew more than me. And I know people in the media are going to be pissed off because it don't fit their narrative. It don't fit their narrative. What if the Dallas Mavericks end up going to the NBA Finals and winning it all? That'll be like their worst nightmare. Or they'll just say, oh, it's all because of Luka. That's what they'll do. That's what they'll do. So I hope Kyrie wins, man. Just because so many people have been essing on him. So many people. KD to the Knicks. Man, KD needs to get the hell up out of New York, man. He needs to just go to another state. KD may be driving somewhere. He may end up right back in front of the Brooklyn Nets arena. He needs to just go to another state. New York ain't working out for KD this year. It's not working out for him. He just needs to move. He just needs to leave. No, that's no disrespect to you. I grew up in New York, but KD needs to leave. Like, he tried it. It didn't work. Just leave. Like, he just needs to go. So that's what I think about it, man. I'm glad all of you guys came in here. But the Lakers, man, the Lakers also lost out big time, man. I know LeBron and these dudes was you saw they got the quote when they asked him, like, yo, do you think Kyrie Irving will be a good fit? He was like, duh. I guess that won't work no more. And you know dudes is going to be tight. And this is the part that gets me. A lot of the people that thought Kyrie was this locker room cancer, he's all of this and all of that, were the same people pushing for him to go to LA. But I thought he was all of these things. So why would you push him to go to LA? I didn't understand that. Yeah, of course they mad. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for being a part of this. I've been sweating like a damn fool, but I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with you guys in here. Anyway, thank you guys for being a part of this live, man. Shout out to everybody that left a comment. Shout out to everybody for your super chat. Appreciate that, Mark. Man, you put a lot of pressure on us, man. You put a lot of pressure on us. That was some serious balling right here, man. That was some serious balling. Anyway, appreciate you guys, man. We're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Have a good one. Have a good one. God bless. God bless. Peace out. Peace out.